Hi, my name is Matthew Beach. I'm an artist and researcher working in London, and welcome to my South London artist studio. But here in England, we're currently living in lockdown 3.0, so I'm sitting here alone speaking to you from my phone. Anyway, I'm recording this video in advance of my exhibition, the Herbarium Shadow, opening this spring at San Mei Gallery in South London to offer a peek of what I've been up to. The exhibition is the first public presentation of an ongoing body of research and art making that began in 2019 at the intersection of a home renovation and a research trip to the Amazon rainforest. And since then, I've been thinking about how the current fashion of houseplants is implicated in longer histories of power and extraction, but also how construction materials and interior design forward the possibility to imagine our relationships with these often tropical and subtropical plants differently, shifting human identity to something more than human. And this has been timely since I've been spending a lot more time at home, as I'm sure you have as well. And one of the objects and projects that I've been having to play around with is starting to make my own contemporary botanical wallpaper patterns, which I'm creating from plant shadows. I sort of became obsessed with shadows after my neighbor across the road installed sort of I guess you'd like call it a garage spotlight. So this really bright LED thing that's motion sensitive, but it shines directly through my bedroom window. And it's super annoying, but inadvertently sort of cast plant shadows onto the walls and ceilings. And that got me thinking then about the use of the shadow as a metaphor for what gets left out in historical accounts or different types of narratives and cultural practice or different kinds of cultural production as sort of wallpapered wall sections. And they have then plant shadows cast upon them. So from that experience of laying in my bedroom at night, watching the shadows sort of move. And so then I photograph these tableaus, I suppose, so to speak, and then I reprint them onto plaster wallboards at true to life scale. So they're essentially, it's almost like you're looking at a conglomeration or sort of combination of that sort of experience of shadows being cast in front of you. Then alongside that, I've also been working a lot with pressed leaves, and that sort of feeds back into, or sort of loops back into, this research into historical wallpapers in the Victorian era and sort of prior, because during that time it was quite fashionable to have personal sort of herbaria collections. And even now, some sort of plant sort of institutions or botanical libraries or horticultural libraries still store herbariums or have herbaria collections sort of as research material. So an element of that has been through producing cyanotypes on Japanese paper and embedding them onto a support paper through a process called Chinkale. And that's sort of a nod to this kind of conservation practice of sort of working with botanical beings or creating herbariums. And it's also a nod to the photographer Anne Atkins. So I'm also a human geography PhD student, and my work as a geographer often theoretically informs the haptic art making, such as geographical discourses like Sarah Waltmore's hypergeographies, which is where I draw the concept of a fluid and relational, more than human experience with the world around me. So this exhibition aims to ask what remains hidden when we form domestic relationships with houseplants, or conversely, when they form domestic relationships with us, and asks what kind of stories might we tell visually that are not currently being told. And so I hope to see you there.